They call us the little Satan. They call you guys the big Satan. And they want to take down America. They're actually saying it. You just have to listen.
Ohad Tal is an Israeli Knesset member. He has served in the Israeli parliament since 2022. He is a member of the Religious Zionism Party, which many on the left have called militantly anti-Arab and far-right. However, Israelis on the right say the party seeks to strengthen Israelis' Jewish identity, repair the legal system, prioritizing principles and values over political power.
People has to realize that this is not charity. America is not supporting Israel as charity. Israel provides America with more intelligence than all of NATO countries combined, okay? And that saves American lives each and every day. One of your top generals just recently said that if we had to get all this information Israel provides us by ourselves, we needed to build 5 CIAs. You know how much money that cost? You know that Israel is the only place in the Middle East which doesn't have American bases, army bases? Why is that? That this is not just Israel's struggle. This is a struggle for the soul of America. Because if America will not wake up to realize the threat coming from these two forces, radical progressivism and radical Islamism, if you will not wake up to realize the threat, and you will not realize that Israel is your best ally in fighting these forces, what is happening in Europe, God forbid, will happen here as well.
What would you say to those that say, well, of course they don't have that way of life because Israel has not allowed it. They've kept them captive, they've kept them blocked off, they've starved them. How could you expect them to live as Westerners and have those Judeo-Christian values? Do you have proof of that? Does the government have proof that they have paid people like?
First of all, not just us. You know, Washington knows exactly where the money is coming from.
If they could press a button and kill every Jew, they would do it.
Of course, with no hesitation. They're saying it.
Let me ask you the same question. MK Tal, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure to be here.
I am so excited. Welcome to America. Welcome to Texas.
Welcome to real America.
Shalom,
America.
Shalom.
Shalom.
So you
shalom.
say shalom. Let me teach you something. It's how y'all doing.
How y'all?
How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
That's it. And I say shalom. Shalom.
Yeah,
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, one of the great things about you being here and getting to meet you is we come from, I mean, I think everyone is so similar in so many ways, but we come from such different worlds and your experiences are so different. So I want to hear first of all, tell me about your job, which you've been a little busy, a few things going on, I think.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Just a few. But tell me a little bit about when I read about the Knesset.
Yeah.
Which is basically similar to a parliament. It's not bicameral.
Yeah, it's a Congress.
A Congress, okay.
Yeah.
So tell me in a nutshell about all the parties and the changing and how does that all work?
Oh my
and
goodness.
Also about your party. So.
So you have 3 days for me.
That's right, I'm gonna take notes.
Okay, so first of all, I want to address what you asked me before about the backgrounds of me and yourself. I don't think we are coming from such different backgrounds, to be honest, you know. Again, I grew up in a secular family, but I became an observant Jew as I grew up. And I think that today, Jews and Christians are actually fighting in the same battlefield against the same forces who are trying to take down the Judeo-Christian heritage. You know, as we speak, Prime Minister Netanyahu and Secretary of State Marco Rubio are now sitting in the city of David in Jerusalem. And this is, I mean, just before I got here, I got their speeches and what they're saying. And they both spoke about this Judeo-Christian heritage, which is being challenged by the alliance between this this extreme progressive woke culture and their friends, radical Islamists. And they are trying to destroy our values, our heritage, and we have to stand together and fight together. So I think actually we're not as different as you may think. Now, to tell a little bit about myself, so yes, I'm serving as a Knesset member in the past 3 years. It's my first term actually. And oh boy, what 3 years it had been.
You didn't even get a year in.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I mean, really, I mean, and especially the past 2 years with the war and everything around it, it's not naturally that's a main issue. I live in Efrat, in Judea and Samaria, on the Judean hill, just right across Bethlehem. And you know what? I think that's also the story. You know, in Bethlehem, before the Oslo Accords, 80% of the people living in Bethlehem were Christians and 20% Muslims. 30 years later, after fake peace, it changed. Exactly the opposite. Now 80% are Muslims and only 20% Christians. And I have many friends in Bethlehem living there, Christians, who are being persecuted by the Palestinian Authority, by the Muslims who are living there. So yes, I do think that also in that regard, we are on the same battlefield trying to fight against the same forces who hate everything that we both represent.
I want to talk, of course, about October 7th,
Yeah.
Nearly 2 years ago. I recently watched several videos about what happened. It truly leaves you shaken. You know, it truly leaves you shaken. And as I watched that video, I found myself mostly extremely angry, just so angry. And I knew that wasn't the right route to take, but I was so mad. There were a couple things that my first thought as a Texan, if there was a musical festival in Texas, about 300 men would pull out guns.
Yeah.
And I was like, where are their guns? If I was Jewish, after what had happened to my people, I feel like everyone should have a gun. But that's not really the case, is it? It's hard to get a gun in Israel.
I mean, it's not hard to get a gun in Israel, but you have to stand in several criteria, and there's a lot more bureaucracy than here in America. And you're right. I mean, this is, again, Israel is suffering from the same disease that many other Western countries are suffering from, especially America, this wokeism, this progressivism, who are trying to hurt our rights or trying to disconnect us from our identities, from family values, from national values, from religious values, all these things. And this is a struggle. This is a struggle that is happening in Israel. This is a struggle that is happening here in America. I think, and the weapon issue is just another part of that. My right to protect myself against these evil forces who are trying to basically kill us. Let's face it. Let's realize it. Let's face reality. And I think that's also part of the same struggle. And you know, yes, October 7th was a horrible, horrible day in which we've lost 1,200 of our brothers and sisters. Whole families were burned alive and women were raped. And unspeakable atrocities happened on that day. You know, my parents lived in a city called Sderot. It's a city right next to Gaza. It's a city that was heavily bombed by Gaza in the past 20 years. Now, my father is an 84-year-old man that had to run away from synagogue on October 7th when bullets were all around him. One of my best friends, his son, Daniel, is hostage, and until today, over 700 days, is still in the dungeons of Hamas in Gaza. Unspeakable atrocities. But, at the same time, what happened since October 7th until today, in the past 2 years, is that Israel changed the Middle East. We took one by one each of these fronts of the ring of fire that surrounded Israel, orchestrated by Iran. In the last couple of decades, they've built an unbelievable infrastructure in order to achieve one goal, and that is to destroy the state of Israel. And we've managed to take down Hezbollah in Lebanon, a terror organization that killed hundreds of Americans and tens of thousands of people all around the world. We've managed to take them down. The Assad regime in Syria has fallen. Most of the militias, the Shiite militias in Syria, are not there anymore. And we are protecting today Christians and Druze in Syria who are being hunted by al-Julani's regime. Israel is doing that. The Houthis in Yemen suffered severe hits by Israel. we're taking down Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Gaza and in Judea and Samaria. And of course, the Iranian regime, they had a nuclear plan, and make no mistake, we were not the only target. It's not Israel only that was the target for their plan. They call us the little Satan. They call you guys the big Satan. And they want to take down America. They're actually saying it. We just have to listen to what our enemies are saying. I know that today there's a whole discussion here in America. People like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and all these people who are they don't get the reality. They're trying to ignore reality. Iran is saying each and every day, we want to take down America. Mm-hmm. They are the big Satan. They're burning American flags in Tehran each and every day. So Israel is doing the dirty work for America. We are protecting not just ourselves. Yes, of course we're protecting ourselves, but not just ourselves. We are protecting you. We are protecting the free world against these forces of barbarism and tyranny.
Do you feel we've had a very large amount of influx of Muslims coming into America.
Yeah, right.
And it's growing very quickly.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's a danger to Americans?
You just have to watch videos of internal discussions between these Muslims who are coming here to America. First of all, look at what is happening in Europe, because what is happening now in Europe, this is what's going to happen in America unless you'll fight it. It will happen in America just the same. And listen to what they're saying in their internal discussions. I mean, there's so many podcasts and so many other things that you can just listen to what they're saying, what they're talking. And they're saying, we're not here to assimilate. We hate America. We want to use the resources of America in order to take down America from within. That's their plan. It's happening already in Europe. Look at all these countries, the UK and France and all these countries. You know that I think around 9 of the mayors of the biggest cities in the UK today are Muslims. There are whole areas in which the British police doesn't even dare to think to get into these places. So do we want to keep our countries? Do we want to fight for our societies, or we want to cave to these radicals who want to take down our countries? I think, and I say, yes, we should fight. We have no other choice but fighting.
Mm-hmm. I want to play something for you real quick. And as we speak about people, the Arabs that are in Gaza and the Judea Samaria area, this is an interview from a Palestinian in Gaza, basically regarding October 7th.
Yeah.
A lot of polls suggest that many Palestinians support what happened that day. Is that accurate from what you talk to people in your neighborhood and your community?
Most people agree with what happened with the 7 October. 70% موافقين، فيش نقاش هذا فيها. ال 30% في قلبهم موافقين بس بيقدرش يعلنوا.
Are you part of the 70% or the 30%?
أنا من 100 ل1%.
So you more than 100% support it.
So he's basically saying, this is a Palestinian saying, 70% will openly say what happened on October 7th was good. The other 30% just won't say it. And that leads me to this question. There's so much pressure on terminate Hamas. Mm-hmm. It's almost like the feeling that all will be well if just Hamas is taken out of the equation. But when I see interviews like that, will they ever stop the Menanahe Abba? Will that ever stop? And what do you do?
You ask a great question. You know that besides Hamas, on October 7th itself, besides Hamas operatives who infiltrated our villages, our kibbutzim down south, and killed and raped and slaughtered, random Palestinians, thousands and thousands of them, got into Israel and did the same. They raped, they killed, they steal, they slaughtered. This is what they have done. You know, there's a famous video of a phone call made by a Palestinian teenager from Gaza who's calling his father and his mother from when he's in Israel already, on October 7th. And he's telling them, Baba, Baba, Mama, Mama, with my own bare hands, I killed 10 Israelis. What do their parents tell him? Praise the Lord. Thank God. Unbelievable. We are so proud of you. That's their heritage. That's their education. This is what they teach their kids to do. I mean, most of the time, and I've never got this question from any interviewer in America, because most people in America and throughout Western civilization, they think that the Arabs, the Muslims, are operating in the same way as we do. But they don't. They don't. They have a different system. They're not educating their kids to have a better education and to marry a nice wife, to have a wife and kids and family and continuity and have decent jobs and so on. No, this is not what they're teaching their kids. That's the American dream. You know, Charlie Kirk spoke exactly about that. He said, we want to have the American dream. The American dream is to have decent jobs and education and to have our kids be allowed to drive their bicycle till the sun goes down, not to be forced to hear LGBTQ garbage in their school, and not to hear the call for prayers on the mosque. This is what the words of Charlie Kirk, not mine. Okay, that's the American dream, and they're coming after our American dream. This is what they want to do. So yes, we need to stand up and we have to fight against these forces.
What would you say to those that say, well, of course they don't have that way of life because Israel has not allowed it. They've kept them captive, they've kept them blocked off, they've starved them. How could you expect them to live as Westerners and have those Judeo-Christian values? What would you say to someone who says that?
That's just ignorant and not realizing the history for what it is. You know, Israel is a country that desires peace more than anything. And we've done all possible concessions throughout our history. Since the first day Israel was established, we were willing to make concessions, giving, and by the way, also something people has to understand, I think most people don't realize. Most people think that Israel is like this super big country, right? An empire who terrorized other nations. Israel is a tiny country, only the size of New Jersey.
Only 10 million people.
10 million people, and smallest country in the Middle East land-wise. Only the size of New Jersey. And yet, we were willing to make concessions all throughout history. I don't know if people know that, but when the British mandate was given to the British to establish a home for the Jewish people, it was given not just for what is modern-day Israel, but also to what is modern-day Jordan. That was also supposed to be a part of the state of Israel. We were willing to make the concession, and we gave Jordan to the Arabs. So they already, which by the way, that's 80% of the land. 80% of the land was given to the Arabs to establish an Arab state with what was supposed to be a Jewish state. So we were already given 80% of our land to the Arabs.
And this is 1947?
Exactly.
Okay,
right.
so when the British mandate, they basically said, okay, here's Israel and we're out of here.
Right.
Basically the day after, the Arab countries said, oh, the British are gone, boom, we're coming in.
Right.
And you, to everyone's surprise, you won.
We won the war.
So you were like, okay, we'll take some more land. And while you're at it, you know.
Right. And
but
that was
then,
also not enough for them.
It
wasn't enough for them. And then in 2005 also, and throughout our history, we're willing to make concessions and to give more pieces of our land to the Arabs. And Ehud Olmert and Ehud Barak, when they were prime minister, they were willing to give 99% of Judea and Samaria to the Arabs. We've said yes. They've said no. The partition plan, we've said yes. They've said no. In 2005, we gave Gaza to the Palestinians. We took away all our villages out of there. We even uprooted people from their graves in Gaza. All our people, we took them out. We gave Gaza to the Palestinians. Did we get any peace, stability, or prosperity out of it? No. Only death and bloodshed. So we are to be blamed for what is happening to the Palestinians? You know that there's more food. I mean, again, people have to know the simple facts. There's more food that is getting into Gaza during the war than what they had before the war. Israel is the only nation in the world that is being required to provide their enemies with food and supplies. No other nation has ever done that in human history. We are doing that each and every day. But you know why? We are doing it happily. We believe in that every God was created in the image of God. Every person was created in the image of God. And we want them to eat and to be fed, and everything is okay. but we are also accused of genocide. Really, are we committing genocide? The ratio of civilian casualties in Gaza is the lowest in human history. No other nation engaged in a war and fed their enemy and kept such a low ratio of civilian casualties. Israel is the only one that is doing that, and we are being accused for genocide and for starvation. This is just a lack of moral This is moral blindness.
This is something that strikes me about this situation. A group of militants, which were elected by Gazans,
right,
come into your country and not just kill 1,200 people, indescribably slaughter them in ways unbelievable. Then they go back and take 250 hostages, killing many of them. How many hostages do we think are alive right now?
There are currently 48 hostages still in the hands of Hamas.
There.
20 of them we presume are still alive.
They take the hostages, they're out. If that happened to America, we're going after them, and we're not asking for you to like us or care if you like us.
And this is
but
exactly
everyone's got their opinion about Israel.
Right.
Oh, they should, they shouldn't. Do you sometimes say, I don't care what you think. My brothers and sisters were murdered. We are going to fix this. Like, I don't understand why everyone has an opinion. I mean, I know, and part of it, me can't be as naive to know that it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that we've given Israel as Americans $300 billion since 1948. So, and 40 or $50 billion in the last 22 months. So I know that gives a sense for someone like Trump to mouth off when Israel may make a choice in Qatar or other things. It's almost like, well, if we're going to give you $40 billion, then we get to have our say. But at the same time, I feel like if I was you, I'd be like, butt out. Go home. We don't need your opinion and we don't need your permission. How do you feel about that?
So first of all, yes, I do believe that it's not just serving the best interests of Israel, but it's also serving the best interest of America, that these evil forces who committed these atrocities of October 7th will be eliminated. Because if not, we are inviting more and more terror to our countries. You are inviting more and more. Basically, you are saying evil forces can prevail. No, these forces cannot prevail. They cannot kept in power. They cannot stay there. This evil has to be eliminated. Number one, and you know what? Yes, we will do it with or without the support of the world. That's number one. Number two, about the American support for Israel. People has to realize that this is not charity. America is not supporting Israel as charity. Israel provides America with more intelligence than all of NATO countries combined. Okay, and that saves American lives each and every day. One of your top generals just recently said that if we had to get all this information Israel provides us by ourselves, we needed to build 5 CIAs. You know how much money that cost? You know that Israel is the only place in the Middle East which doesn't have American bases, army bases? Why is that? You have bases in Syria, in Kuwait, in Qatar. You don't have a base in Israel. Why? Because we don't ask for American boots on the ground.
We don't need to.
We are doing the job for you. We are protecting your interests in the Middle East. We are coming after your enemies in the Middle East. This is what we are doing each and every day. So we are saving American lives. We are saving a lot of money to America. And we are providing a lot of technologies to America. For example, the Iron Dome, which now became the most desirable system in the world. It's an Israeli technology that is being manufactured here in America. It provides tens of thousands of jobs to Americans. It enhances America's security, and we are providing all that to America. So it goes both ways. Yes, America provides Israel with support, but getting so much more and saving so much more money and saving so much more American lives by building this alliance. This is an alliance between two closest friends who are helping each other. We are doing it happily because we believe that the world needs to have strong America. But America also has to realize, and our friends in America has to realize, that they need strong Israel in the Middle East. And don't imagine that you can just, because you have an ocean, as America First policy wanted to believe. And they're right. I also support America First policy. I think America should put your interest first before anything else. But you cannot think that because you're surrounded by ocean, then your problem is going to stay behind the ocean. There are many forces in this world, China, and many other countries who wants to see America goes down. And if you will not stand up and fight, it will not disappear. They will come after you, they will take you down, and I think you need Israel to be as strongest and as most effective as possible to protect your interests in the Middle East.
Okay, we're not hearing that. I don't know if you're aware of that. We're not hearing that. That when you mention what we're getting back, we only hear what we give.
Yeah.
But we are getting so much. Let me go back just a little bit, because I was so interested when Trump was working to help create some peace between Israel and Iran in June. Why did it involve Qatar? Why on earth would they be involved? I couldn't understand that.
That makes two of us.
And why did he say it's not good for you or America to do what you did recently? Not you, but the country. When they have obviously shown they would like all of you did. Is it because they're wealthy, and is this just a money thing?
So first of all, I think President Trump very wisely is trying, and you have to watch carefully at what he's actually saying, not what the media is saying that he said, but what he's actually said. And he was asked about it just today. And he said that Israel should be careful when they're attacking in other places. He didn't say Israel should not have had the strike in Qatar.
Okay.
And you know what, it's because it's a very sensitive issue. I cannot say a lot about that here when there are cameras around us, but I can only say that you can just imagine that Israel hasn't done that without getting a sign from America that they support it.
Yes.
They understand. And you know what? I will tell you even another secret. Not just America wants to see Hamas is being eliminated. Many other countries in the Middle East wants to see Hamas being eliminated, because Saudi Arabia, for example, and the Emiratis, and all these countries, they understand perfectly who Hamas is. They know that the Muslim Brotherhood, which Hamas is part of it, is a threat to their countries even before it's a threat to Israel. So in the Middle East, everything is more complicated. There's one thing you say, and there's one thing you actually believe in. And all these countries, they want to see Hamas eliminated.
Now, your enemies, I've often wondered, all of your enemies that surround you in a certain sense, do they like I get the feeling that it works out really well when there's the Palestinian-Israeli conflict.
Right.
That, and it's played so well. I mean, the propaganda in America is, I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it when I hear normal, conservative, smart people say what they'd be saying. And you mentioned Candace Owen. Let me play a clip. This is it.
Yeah.
I heard this yesterday, and it just floored me again. And I'm just going to play it. I want to hear.
Sure.
Israel's controlling our government. Trump is powerless against him. I don't think we've been a sovereign nation since they shot JFK. And when I say they, it's like people online say, what do you mean by they? I'm talking about Israel. I don't want you guys to read in between. I'm talking about Israel. So let's stop making that a taboo subject, because they've gone mask down. Everything they're doing is demonic. I want nothing to do with it. I will never support Israel into the future after what they've done to these children. The starvation campaign. I don't care. Please write your article. You've already written them all. I don't know what you could write about me. But I do not support Israel. And I don't think that Jewish Americans should support Israel. And I hope that they're now having those conversations. I see many of them recognizing that they have been propagandized into believing they have to support this demonic state. And so I'm hoping now that we're getting to that point where people can recognize that whether you're black, you don't have to agree with BLM, whether you're Jew, allowing your identity to shape your morality is problematic, okay? And Israel, in and of itself, is the demonic nation. I will never support Israel, right? So I went from working for PragerU to I will never support Israel. So that's how much the scales have fallen from my eyes about what they are involved in. And if this isn't your wake-up call to just look at the footage of what they are doing, they're playing Hunger Games and like throwing food at them and then killing people and seeing who survives. It's just at your fingertips. You have to take a look at what Israel is doing.
Who's paying her? That's what I want
the
to know.
answer is very clear. Qatar.
Do you
Make
really
no
believe
mistake.
this?
First of all, Candice, unfortunately, she became anti-Semite 100%. What she said now,
She said the word demonic.
Yeah, she's pure anti-Semite who trying to create a whole fake narrative around Israel.
Why? Why would she do
Because
that?
as you've said, somebody's paying her.
Do you think
that's the only logical explanation for this craziness that we've just witnessed? I mean, really? First of all, these pictures of starvation in Gaza, of Hunger Games, as she put it, this was made by Hamas. Again, I would say, Israel provides food to Gaza more than ever gotten into Gaza before the war. This is what is happening now. Now they're leaving, thousands and thousands of people are leaving Gaza City to going down south to the areas where we provide all the humanitarian food. You see all around them, the track of boxes and boxes of food that they're just throwing because they can't even keep them because there's so much food. Starving people don't just throw food. If there's any part of Gaza that suffers from starvation, you know why it is? It's only because of Hamas. Because they're taking this food, they're taking possession of this food, and they're preventing their own population from getting it. They're using their own people as human shields. We have to be blamed for what the atrocities Hamas committing against their own people? No way. We didn't initiate this war. This war can end. If everybody wants to see this war ends, fine with me. There's two simple things that needs to happen for this war to end. Bring us back the hostages and lay down your arms. You'll see the war ends that second. Golda Meir said it in the 70s. The day the day the Arabs will put down their guns, there'll be a peace because Israel wants peace. The day Israel will put down their guns, there'll be no Israel because our enemies want to destroy us.
If they could press a button,
that's a simple truth.
If they could press a button and kill every Jew, they would do it.
Of course, with no hesitation. They're saying it.
Let me ask you the same question. If you could do that to the Arabs in Gaza and Judea, Samaria area?
No, of course not. I can tell you that, we don't hate anybody. We want to live in peace and quiet. And even just the fact that I have to answer this question is something I cannot understand because
it's a horrible question to ask.
No, I know, you're right.
But we're hearing
of course, you're right. But I'm saying because you're not just asking, you're trying to represent the question that people are asking themselves, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm saying people have to understand. Israel has already proven that so many times. Again, we said yes to any peace offer that was up there since the beginning of the state of Israel. Even when it was stupid, like the Oslo Accords, when it was clear that we will not get any peace of allowing these radicals to take control over Judea and Samaria. That was craziness, and yet we've said yes, and we are paying until today the price of this stupidity. So we have done of doing stupid things.
Yes.
And I want to tell you another thing. Just on the Sunday before I came here to America, I had a very important and interesting meeting with more and more Palestinian leaders in Judea and Samaria who are saying, and today even out loud, we had enough. We had enough of the BS of the Oslo Accords. We had enough of the corruption of the Palestinian Authority. We had enough of Hamas and Islamic Jihad and all this stuff. We had enough of that. We want Israel to apply sovereignty over Judea and Samaria because we came to realize that if we want a better future for our kids, if we want a better future for ourselves, we need strong Israel. So they want Israel to apply sovereignty. They want to be separated from the Palestinian Authority, to be recognized as their own emirate, and to join the Abraham Accords. You know what? There are 5 sheikhs in Hebron. There was an article that was published on the Wall Street Journal about a couple of weeks ago. They are saying it. They are saying it. These 5 sheikhs of Hebron wrote this article. They are saying it, and I can tell that there are more and more Palestinian leaders who are coming to realize that. and we are working together with them to build a real peace in the Middle East, a real peace in Judea and Samaria, one that doesn't fool ourselves with these crazy narratives of Palestinian nationality, because there is no such thing. They admit that. They are saying, we are not a nation. You know, the different tribes in Judea and Samaria, they're not marrying with each other. They're not even doing business with each other. This is not a nation. They are different tribes. So, let's recognize them for what they are, for who they are, and let's build our relations with them according to each tribe. If you want to fight with us, okay, so we will fight you back, and look at what is happening in Gaza. That will be your destiny as well. But if you want to really want to coexist with us, you know what? Your future will be bright. You know that 20% of Israel's population today are minorities, Muslims, Arabs, Jews. And you can ask each one of them if they would prefer to leave and go live in another country in the Middle East. I don't know, in Syria or Lebanon or Jordan or Egypt. Of course, they will all say, no way. Israel is good for us. We have good life here, better than any other place in the Middle East. So yes, Israel is good for everybody. We don't hate anybody. We don't want to kill anybody. We want to live in peace and security. And we are done with compromising our safety and our security for crazy ideas like a Palestinian state or all these nonsense.
Yes. I want to ask you a little bit about Egypt.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about you've tried and tried. When you look at the history, even just from the British Mandate era, even from that point on, it's like, okay, we'll take peace. Here's land. We'll give it to you. The Sinai Peninsula, full of oil.
Right.
You gave it back to Egypt.
Yep.
You gave it to Egypt after they attacked you.
Yep.
And you were like, well, if you're going to attack us, it's ours, which is what any country does when you're attacked.
Right.
You gave it back. And I'm interested in your thoughts on Egypt. And I'm really interested in and this is stuff people don't talk about, is it's all about you guys starving Gaza when there's a huge border between Egypt
and Gaza. Yeah.
And the gate is like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Right.
It's unbelievable. They don't let one Gazan in. Why would they not let them in?
That's absurd. That's the absurd. We are being blamed for starving Gaza when they have a border with Egypt, as you've said, which is completely blocked. The only food and water that is getting into Gaza, and that has ever gotten into Gaza since ever, is through Israel. Israel is providing Gaza with food and water. So, and we are being blamed for starving Gaza. I mean, this is how ridiculous the arguments of Candace Owens and all these crazy anti-Semites. This is how crazy and how I don't want to say ignorant, because it's much more than just being ignorant. It's about being I don't know. I don't even know how to say that.
We say cuckoo here.
Yeah, cuckoo. Great. So perfect.
It's hard to understand, and like when I see people like Tucker Carlson, who I admire, and Candace, who I've always thought she was so brilliant, something is not right.
Right.
And it makes me think big bucks.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just an assumption, of course. You may have some proof. If I was Israel, I would be very interested to know why people like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, they are influencing so many millions of people. We listen to her.
You're right.
And she's calling you demonic.
Yeah, right. Unfortunately, it's more people. We can see also people like Steve Bannon, for example. I sat together with Steve Bannon only a couple of months ago in a pro-Israel conference here in Texas. So, I know one of my best friends was a very, very good friend, close friends with Steve Bannon. They were talking on a daily basis. And one day, out of the blue, he told him, stop calling me. I don't want to hear anything you have to say about Israel or about anything else. I'm done with that. Out of the blue, with no reason. You cannot explain it in any other way but somebody but these people. And when I say somebody, there's one country that has a lot of money and uses their money to influence. They understand that they cannot just use it again with the left camp here in America, because it doesn't have the effect anymore. It doesn't have enough effect anymore, because thank God, and especially after Trump's victory in the last elections, 77 million Americans stood up and said, no, we will not stand for it anymore. So they rejected this whole progressive woke culture that tried to put them at the back. They said, no, we are here to stay. And they supported President Trump, and thank God for that. But now they're very smart. So now they're using the money in order to influence the conservative camp. And they're buying people, and this is what is happening. And again, I want that all those who are now watching us to realize that this is not just Israel's struggle. This is a struggle for the soul of America. Because if America will not wake up to realize the threat coming from these two forces, radical progressivism and radical Islamism, if you will not wake up to realize the threat, and you will not realize that Israel is your best ally in fighting these forces, what is happening in Europe, God forbid, will happen here as well.
You mentioned a country. Is it Qatar?
I think everybody understands what I'm referring to.
Do you have proof of that? Does the government have proof that they have paid people like?
First of all, not just us. Washington knows exactly where the money is coming from. Washington understands, they know how the money is coming to America and where it goes. And I think that the time will come, even for the authorities here in America, to expose that. But I'll leave it to the Americans to decide when and how they want to do that.
It's been extreme. The campaign, if you will, has been extremely successful.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder, and I could never know, is this what it felt like in 1943? Was it like this? Because do you know the band Coldplay?
Yeah.
When he brought, and they've been doing this thing where they'll bring some people, they go all over the world, and as many saw, they picked a couple of young women who had a sign that caught his attention. They come up, and he asked them, where are you from? And they said, Israel. There was an audible boo. It shocked him. He felt like he needed to get out of it because he just brought up these two horrible, racist, demonic, as Candace says, people. And he says, well, let's also make sure we know we welcome the Palestinians. When you see something like that, how do you feel?
I feel that people are blinded by this whole political correctness campaign that try to block our eyes from differentiating between good and evil. There is good and there is evil, and evil has to be eliminated. And good forces, whether if they're Muslims or Arabs or whatever, we need to work together with them in order to really build a better future. But trying to portray Israel, this small country, tiny country in the Middle East, who only try to survive and try to protect Judeo-Christian values and democracy in the Middle East, to try and put them as demonic, as racist, this is like really, it's losing the ability to differentiate. Our sages, they've said that before,
what is a sage?
Sage, like our scholars, the Jewish scholars, they've said that at the end of the days, before the redemption, there'll be a time of such darkness, of such confusion, and they will call the night day into the day night. To the light, they will call darkness, and to the darkness, they will call light. And this is what we are seeing. This is exactly what we are seeing. It's everywhere. And it makes me very optimistic because, our sages said it's going to happen, and this is what we are seeing. So, yes, apparently we are getting closer and closer to the time of redemption. I believe that, and I think that that we, Jews and Christians, people who love America, people who want to fight for the soul of America and Israel, we have to work together. We have to fight against these forces.
Let me ask you, the word anti-Semitic. It's a big word.
Yep.
We use the word racism here in America all the time. They're
Yep.
racist. They're racist. They're racist.
Yep.
Black people, Hispanic people, Arabs. But we don't use that word when it comes to a Jew. We say anti-Semitic, probably for a lot of reasons, and the background of that word as it's shifted and changed to the true meaning. But one of the things, and tell me what you think about this, is there's this feeling like, I've even thought this, like the morning after the peace talks with Iran.
Yeah.
And you know Trump, he was very, very upset with what happened, which he made very well known. I remember thinking, like, what are they doing? And then I'm like, I'm looking behind me like, they're going to call me anti-Semitic. That's almost my first reaction. Like, like people talk about America's government all the time, those idiots, but I never think they're anti-Christian or anti-British, But if I feel like if I were to say Israel's doing this wrong, there's a lot of people who would say, well, you're just an anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Listen, again, last week we've lost a dear, dear person, Charlie Kirk, okay? Charlie Kirk heard all kind of critics against Israel. He thought that Israel is not doing this right, and that's 100% okay. You don't have to agree with everything Israel is doing. It's perfectly okay to have disagreements, especially among friends. We are not here to agree about everything. We don't have to agree about everything. But he was, at the same time, one of the most brilliant and strongest supporters of Israel. Because you can have disagreements, but yes, he realized that we are on the same side. We are fighting for the same causes. We are fighting for the same values. We are trying to do the same thing. We have differences, and it's perfectly fine. And not everybody who has differences with Israel is automatically anti-Semite. Not at all.
But you know what I'm saying by that?
Of course I know what you're saying.
And I think that's more American Jews that are so quick to say, you're an anti-Semite.
Well, I don't know if it happens so fast as you've said. Because, the Jewish people, there is no other nation in the world that the other nations have tried to eliminate as happened to the Jewish people. I mean, yes, in the Holocaust, there was a mass, a real genocide. Now they're using the word genocide for everything very easily.
Yeah.
The real genocide was against the Jewish people when they built whole system and camps and everything in order to destroy one by one each and every Jew. So yes, we have good reasons, I would say,
absolutely,
to identify those who are trying to destroy us. But not every critics against Israel, of course, is anti-Semitic. Not at all.
Right. Tell me about your country and Jews in Israel. Are there Jews that live in Israel that are basically saying, what we're doing is horrible, you're starving the Gazans? Is there people that left in your own country that is like what Netanyahu is doing and these conservatives are horrified? Because we have that in our country. People call me a demon because I'm conservative.
Yeah.
And that's within our own country. Is it like that in Israel?
It's exactly the same story. Okay. Exactly the same thing that is happening now in America. I mean, you cannot be a Trump supporter without being considered a fascist, right? If you're a Trump supporter, and I just met several friends, somebody that was appointed by President Trump to a position in the health system here in America, and the second he got the position, he was labeled as fascist by so many, even some of his friends, because this is how people lost their mind in America. And the same thing is happening in Israel. If you're supporting Netanyahu, then immediately you are a fascist, immediately you are starving Gaza, you're committing genocide, and all these nonsense. So it happens in Israel, it happens in America, it happens in so many other countries. But I hope and I think that we will see, and I think we're already seeing that the right-wing camp, which for many years, especially in the last couple of years, the other forces, the left, try to tell conservative people, you are not relevant. You are part of the past. You're not relevant for what is happening. We are the future. And I think, and especially after the victory of Trump in these elections, I think it's not just a political victory, it's a spiritual victory of 77 million Americans that stood up and said, no, we are here. We are not just part of the past. We are rooted in the past, but we are the present, we are the future, we are staying here, and you are seeing it in so many other countries. You've seen only, I think yesterday or the day before, you've seen this big demonstration in Britain, in London, of about 1 million people with British flags, finally proud of their identity, proud of their nation, fighting for the nation. Yes, and you know what? They were carrying also Israeli flags. And they were tearing apart the Palestinian flag, because that is the truth. These are the forces, these are the two camps, Israel and the free world, with all these nations against these barbarists, against these radicals who are trying to take down our countries. The same thing is happening in Argentina, the same thing is happening in Hungary, the same thing is happening in Holland and in so many other countries. And I hope that the right-wing camp will only grow in all these countries and will realize the truth for what it is, and will stand up and will all fight together for our countries. Because otherwise, I mean, the left are so smart and they're working so effectively to try and destroy our countries. And yes, we have to fight back.
I've read that members of Knesset and other country consider your party Jewish supremacist, far right, hateful. Is that the left talking? I've read articles in different Israeli newspapers, and I'm like, it sounds very much like the way American left will speak of the American right. Is it so? You have people in the Knesset that do not like what you stand for.
Exactly the same. You cannot be a right-wing supporter without being presented as fascist. You just cannot. That's the reality. The left immediately, if you're supporting Trump, if you're a right-wing, if you're conservative, then you're a fascist and you're this and you're that and all these things. This is how they portray us. You know, if I was fascist, I would not have sit with Arab leaders and try and build a better future together with them. This is not what fascists are doing, okay? I believe that we can build a better future, which will be good for everybody. It will be good for Jews, it will be good for Christians, it will be good for Muslims, it will be good for everybody if Israel will get stronger. You know that before the 1967 war, the Six-Day War, when Israel didn't have the control over Judea and Samaria and over East Jerusalem, Jews and Christians could not go to the old city and worship God. They could not. Since the day Israel took control over the old city of Jerusalem, everybody can come. Jews, Christians, Muslims. Again, Israel, we are protecting Christians and Jews in Syria today. So we are fascists? We are racist? No, we are not racist. We just recognize our own identity, and we realize that in order for everybody to be safe and secure, Israel has to be strong.
As we wind this down, I want to ask you, what, as a man, not as a Jew, not as an Israeli, what do you want?
I want Israel to recognize its identity and to realize that if God brought us back after 2,000 years of exile, as the prophets promised that will happen, if he brought us back, creating this unbelievable, unprecedented miracle in human history, because this miracle of bringing a nation from four corners of the world to its biblical homeland only happened once to the Jewish people. So that was meant for a purpose. And I believe that this purpose is not just to serve ourselves. This purpose is to serve humanity. You know that prophet Isaiah says that at the end of the days, the temple will be firmly established at the peak of the mountains, and all nations shall stream to it, for my house shall be a house of prayer for all nations. That is the vision that we are here to serve. We don't want strong Israel just for ourselves. We want strong Israel for the entire humanity, because we believe that that's the only way to really bring blessing to the world, to the entire world. That's the vision. This is what I'm trying to promote. I'm trying to promote this vision of real peace, of real blessing to the entire world, by having Israel strong. And that's my dream. This is what I'm hoping to see in my life.
Do you think you'll see peace in your lifetime?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I think it's definitely possible. And you know what? I think that we will not have a choice but to accomplish that, because otherwise we will get more and more October 7th.
I think about, we talked about our similarities. What I have not had in my life is to feel fear from someone invading my home, my land. You've lived with that.
Yeah.
I would imagine you're very tired of living with it.
Yes. And as President Trump said, if you want to achieve peace, it has to be peace through strength. Peace through weakness does not work. Again, we have to learn from history. 1938, the British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain, when he signed the shameful Munich agreements, he thought that if he will appease Nazi Germany, then he'll bring peace to the world, right? But what happened 2 years later? The Blitz, and tens of thousands of British lost their life. Until, thank God, Churchill came and he realized that you don't appease terrorists, you do not appease these radical forces, you have to defeat them. That's the way to promote peace. We are today living in a world, free societies. If the free world would not have fought against Nazi Germany, there wasn't a free world today. So yes, when Britain bombed Dresden, when the free world fought against Nazi Germany and they bombed Berlin, thousands of people were killed, and people were hungry, and people were killed, and children were killed. That doesn't make anybody happy.
6 million civilian Germans.
Right.
And no one fed them anything.
Exactly. But without fighting Nazi Germany, we would not be sitting here today. So yes, people need to realize war, it's a horrible thing. We all hate wars. I've lost so many of my friends in this war. So many of my friends. I've been to so many funerals, more than I can even count. We hate wars. But in order to really prevent wars, we have to win the wars we're now fighting. We have to defeat evil forces. That's the only way to really build a better future of peace, stability, and prosperity for everybody.
MK Tal, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
I feel like I could talk to you all night, but unfortunately you have places to go. But I think there's so much even in just today that you've said that we're not hearing. And I hope that continues. The truth, it must prevail. It must prevail.
Must prevail, yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.